What do you know about that? Woo-wee, it's cold. Woo, what a mess. I like my snack cakes. Some juice for the heater. Get some. Woo-wee, it's cold. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the shop. Welcome back to the channel. It is 2:30 in the morning out here on the farm, and it is a whopping, and I mean whopping 15 degrees out there. Good night. So I had to hurry up and get after it this morning, get up way earlier than Squirt because I had to take her cereal boxes and come down here and make some panels for Noisy Cricket. And if I had to fight her for that cereal this morning, yeah, I would have took a beating. But anyway, it's see your breath cold in here this morning. But anyway, we're going to fire up that heater real quick. So, yeah, let's get after it. This is Busted Radio Garage. So you remember when you were in school, probably 3rd or 4th grade, they taught you your shapes and how to trace out designs and things of that nature. Well, we finally get to implement that today at a whopping 50 years of age. So essentially what you can do in any shop, any garage, your house, any project, whatever, is essentially you just find a template, right? And for me, I found this old lid laying around in my shop. It's just a plastic circle lid, kind of like you'd have on a bowl or anything else. Well, if I take that and put it over top of this hole, a perfect fit. It's actually about a 1/2 inch bigger all the way around, which is perfect because we're still got to put some screws or rivets in here, right? And I'm sure it'll be close to that one over there and essentially that over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to trace out this circle on one of Squirt's cereal boxes over here, except we're going to take it a little bit bigger and then we'll just trim as we need it for each one of those holes, right? And then we'll just take some sheet metal screws, drive them in, or we'll get some rivets and pop those in. So anyway, let's go ahead and get our cereal box broke down. We'll trace out a few of these. Woo! All right, cool, guys. So what is everybody else's flavor of choice? We're going with Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, Chex is for kids, or are we going to do some marshmallow fruit? I'm a marshmallow Fruit Loop kind of guy, so I think that's what we're going to go with. We'll just set these off to the side. Stay. All right, so cereal boxes are super easy to use because it's a thin cardboard. It's extremely malleable, and you're going to throw them anyway once your kids get done with them, unless you keep one in the bathroom. And if you know, you know. Boom, just like that. So now we got perfect material to draw on. We can get it absolutely the way we want it. And then we can start cutting on our very expensive metal, AKA a road sign. What I do is markers. Also installed these from Squirt. If she asks about it, you didn't see nothing. Get it traced out. I'll tell you what, Miss Sherman would be so proud of me today. All right, so there's our basic circle. Okay, now remember I told you a second ago, I'm gonna try to cut this circle out about a 1/2 inch bigger than what it is. So I'm just going to eyeball it. And just try to make it somewhat-ish bigger. Now this flat edge, I'm not going to be too worried about because up against the lip of the firewall, there's that flat edge. So essentially what I'll do is I'll just make that my top and then we'll base the rest of our cuts off these sides here. Very cool. So it's just a rough template. So let's go over here and see what it's going to look like on the car. All right, let's see what we got here for this one. Now, I've got my brake line here, so I'm not going to be able to get in there too deep. We're in pretty good shape right there. So I think what I'll do is I'll run my top edge. I'll run it flat against my brake line. And we look like we are going to be in there like swimwear. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that one like it is. I think that's going to be perfect. So let's take it over here on the firewall. All right, let's try this on the hole for the windshield wiper motor. Now we've got this flat edge up here at the top, so that's where I'll run this. It's gonna be perfect there as well. So we'll go ahead and use that there. Now let's try it on this one here. This one might be a little trickier. Okay, we're gonna be a little long on this one here, which is fine. We can trim that up or maybe shape it to fit. All right, so I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just line this up here on this old street sign, and we'll just go 1, 2, 3. And cut them out of side of here. We're going to stay away from this edge for right now because it's got this hole in it. But I think that's going to work out perfect. Each one will have to do just a little bit of trimming, something a little bit different from the other. But I think that's going to be our basic shape, and I think we're going to be in there like swimwear as far as that goes. So let's get these traced out, get to cutting them. We'll see where we end up. All right, let me clean up the edges a little bit on this cardboard from just like my rough cut. I think that one's gonna be okay. So what we're gonna do is we'll just start on our sign here and try to keep from wasting any metal. And it's not as much as wasting the metal as it is, you know, just additional cuts. Just sitting here, grinding away on it. All right, there's one. Give a little bit of space here. 2, and trace. Or 3. Woohoo! Just like downtown. So 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. Let me get a jigsaw set up. We're gonna go cut these out. All right, let's get this clamp down just to help a brother out a little bit. Just so we got a third hand, if you will. All right, cool. That should hold that in place. Get my cords. Boy, it is chilly out. Good night. All right. I guess we'll start, I don't know, here we are, I guess. Well, that's no bueno. My blade came out. And my hands are so cold I can't tell how hot that is. All right, there's piece number 1 or piece number 3, however you want to look at it. I cut just a hair on the outside of my line so we can get in there and trim up these sharp edges. And then, you know, there's the reflective of our street sign. All right, cool guys. So I got all 3 of our pieces cut out. So we're good to go here. Made a nice little template for something there, but hey, street lights? I don't know. All right, guys, so I broke up my portable grinder here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these and round these edges off and then go over and test fit them on the car. All right, let's give this a whirl. Try to keep from scratching up on my paint. Got the flat surface gonna head towards the brake line. Now here's some of the issue you run into is this metal is a little bit thicker than that cardboard. That's fine, it'll buff out. Oh, that's money, dude. That's money, dude. Yeah, so that'll work. So there's one. That's beautimous. Yeah, I was gonna maybe try to trim this up so it'll match a little bit better on that brake line, but once it's painted, you'll never even know it's there. So shoot, yeah, that'll work. Let's go try it over here on the windshield wiper motor and then over here. Let's see what we got here. Now we're gonna have to do some trimming on this one, I believe. So let's just run this up. Actually, no, that's actually money, dude. Well, that'll work there as well. We're gonna have to take and massage this down just a hair, but all right, there's 2. Let's try this one. I know for sure we're gonna have to trim this. So yeah, so when we get to this one here on its template, we'll trim this bottom corner here, and then we'll get them all supported and then paint them. Shoot, yeah. Beautiful. All right, guys, I got all my final product checked, marked, trimmed, ground down, all that smashed. Got my, you know, my up arrows and all that stuff put on. So what I like to do is I like to pre-drill these for my either my self-tappers or my rivets. So I'm not trying to go through both pieces of steel at the same time ultimately, right? So I don't want to try to have to go through these and the metal of the car or the body of the car. So if I at least pre-drill these, I'm halfway there. So let's drill these holes. All right, there we go, guys. So all 3 of these are done. Let's go get them mounted. Then we'll brake clean them down real nice. And then we'll get some. Woo. Get some again. Good deal. All right, cool, guys. There's panel number 1. All right, good deal, guys. So we got all of these holes filled in with their plate. I actually forgot about that one when we were doing the other 3. So I went ahead and done that one off camera. So now this firewall and all that is sealed up safe enough to where I'm comfortable with it. So what we'll do off camera, I'm not gonna bore you with it, is we're gonna take all these plates back off. We'll clean them up real nice, get them painted. And then when we reinstall them back on the firewall, we'll put a little bit of silicone on the back of each one and then drive them home. All right, guys, another plate I want to get made is, it's obvious I don't have a fuel filler neck. So I'm going to go ahead and get a plate made to fill in this hole, you know, once and for all. Because at some point, I've got to get this body, you know, I got to get it sanded down, get it like dolphin smooth, R.I.P. Abraham. And so we can get the wrap put on. So I think what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to find something laying around the shop here. Like, there's bound to be something somewhere about the size of that hole, and we're going to cut out a plate for that. I mean, what do you know about that? Exactly the same size as a flat disc. Can't even move it around in there. I ought to leave that in there, I'm telling you. That would be sweet. All right, so let me get a plate cut out for this and we'll get it anchored in. Boom. That turned out freaking awesome. Now, ultimately, I'm going to take these sheet metal screws out and we'll put rivets in there. May even just weld it in. I'm not for sure. I really don't want to weld it. Probably just going to pop rivet it. But we'll do that after we get the wrap done, because this is going to have some wrap on it as well. And then we'll get that inserted in with the wrap on it and then pop rivet it and be done with it. Probably just paint the pop rivets purple or pink. But anywho, we've got to get in here now. The doors I don't have to do anything with. The firewall is buttoned up. But we're going to have to get in there and tackle that now. And that's going to be fun. Because if we all know now, I am what Mom used to call husky. I think it's what it is. Yeah, husky or big bone. You know, that try to keep from hurting my feelings. So anyway, I'm going to have to weeble wobble back in there and try to get some measurements for that. And while I'm back there, I'm probably going to clean these windows off from overspray. You know, somebody's an idiot when they're painting. But anyway, let's keep going. It's about 4:45 in the morning now, so we're moving on pretty good. Sun ought to be coming up here in a minute. Hey, let's go find out. Beautiful sunrise over the farm every morning. Can't beat it with a stick. Absolutely love it out here. I'm truly blessed, and I will never earn it. All right, guys, it's getting a little nipply down there in the shop, so let's run up to the gas station and get some juice for the heater. And the sun is fully up this morning. It's almost 8 o'clock a.m. and it is a frosty little booger out here this morning. I don't know how much that you can see because of the glare, but anywho, let's run up and get some juice for the heater, and we're gonna get back to work. Woo! Had to turn the radio down. Didn't want you guys sitting here listening to me blaring out to the Backstreet Boys, because, you know. Alrighty then. Woo. Just like downtown. Woohoo! All right, cool, guys. So we got this center section built here out of that sign you just see me cutting. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the left and right sections, which will be these pieces here that I go around the cage bars. If you remember, this is like the exact same setup I built for Homer 2.0. It's just this is going to be just a skosh smaller because Noisy Cricket's a little bit smaller. So we'll get these two end pieces built, and then I'll work on a platform for the top. Then we'll get this all roughed up and painted black to match the rest of the car. And then we should be pretty well in there like swimwear for the day. I do have to get Monzilla drug out, which is sitting over here. I had to get it over here put beside Noisy Cricket because his engine's done. So, you know, it's going to start moving in a freaking hurry here. And then we got to make room for Homer 3.0. So let's quit talking about that. Let's go ahead and finish up what we got started today. We'll get the painting done. And then while the painting is drying, we'll run up and see about getting our engines. So, all right, sweet. There's the first side panel. We've got the center section. It's fully mounted. Now let's go ahead and get this other side panel done. And then a little bit of seam sealing to fill in some of the holes. The top plate will go on, wrap over the rest of this. We'll get it all riveted and sheet metal screwed down. And then our safety containment area back here will be sealed up, and we will be in there like swimwear. I wish I could film a little bit more of this inside stuff for you, more of the work. But, you know, I like my snack cakes, and I barely fit in here. So let me get this other side panel installed. Then we'll work on the top, fold it over the front section. We'll rough it all up, get it painted along with the other panels we made, and then I have got to get Mozilla drug out and get up and get my engines. So let's keep pecking away, shall we? All right, guys, there's the entire like front section behind where the back seat would be. That's covering the face of the fuel cell and the trunk. So now what we got to do is the top. And what that's going to be is 39 inches wide with a 13-inch top face and a 2-inch fold over in the front, which will tie this all together and essentially into a box. Now, I do not have a piece of metal or a sign that's 39 inches wide, so that's fine. And I also do not have a brake, which is also fine, you know, to where I can make the fold. However, what I do have is enough metal to get my 39, and we can do like the rest of it when we take it back apart. You know, we can seam seal a section with an overlap and be done with it. But I do have a workbench with a 90-degree lip. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and essentially just attach this to the table with this, you know, some welding vice grips, get this all good and secure, heat it up a little bit, and take my hammer and just work this edge and get my 2-inch lip. So let me get this set up real quick and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. All right, guys, the principle's still the same. Essentially, I'm just gonna create a wedge here. Bam, my bench is getting full. All right, so what I've got is I've got my measurement out for 2 inches for my bend. So essentially, I'm just gonna beat the snot out of this thing and get my edge worked out. All right, here goes nothing. Woo, what a mess. All right, guys, there we go. I got that kind of roughed set up in there. Actually turned out pretty good, to be honest. I'm tickled to death with it. The unfortunate part is that's all got to be tore back out. It's got to be scuffed. It's got to be sanded down, you know, smoothed out. And then we've got to paint it. And then we got to seal it. And then we ultimately got to remount it all back again. But unfortunately, that's going to be the end of this video for today, because it is already lunchtime and I got to skin out of here. I got errands to do. Got to go see about picking up our new engines so we can get this monster put in hopefully in the next couple days. So anyway, I appreciate you watching again. This is day 4 of the 30 days with BRG. Appreciate you watching. We'll catch you next time. BRG out.